They say a cynic is just a disappointed idealist. Let me get a little deep with you in this video about being a pretend race car driver guy. If you followed me on YouTube with these AI race seasons from channel to channel, mod to mod, racing series to racing series, sim to sim over the course of about a decade, you'll know that I spend too much time on this. But you'll also know that these videos I do aren't from a place of realism. They're unfettered, unrestrained idealism. And if it seems from time to time that I am a cynic in the motorsports landscape, it's because there's absolutely positively no way the real racing world could match my idealism. If IndyCar tried to do a 48-plus race season, it'd die as a sporting league. Obviously. Pragmatism, practicality, and patience rule the real-world landscape precisely because the idealists, artists, and dreamers are held aloft on the airy currents of lofty ambitions. But there are times that risk-averse, revenue-return, real-world approach absolutely gets in the way of true necessary progress. We ask IndyCar drivers to be daring on track, to heap risks onto their backs, to remain bold-faced in the face of danger. So why don't we ask for even a modicum of that moxie from the money folks that run the show? Yeah, see that? Cynicism. It's creeping in from the idealism. But of all the liberties I've taken on this calendar, I feel as though a race at the Hermanos Rodriguez Grand Prix circuit is one of the least out there ideas, and you don't have to take my word for it. Pato O'Ward has been desperate to add a race in Mexico, and he's been vocal about it too. But this isn't pie in the sky, this is real merit and sensibility. Has IndyCar raced at this circuit in the past? Yes. Is Mexico City close enough to IndyCar's home base? Absolutely. A hop over the Mexican border isn't too far removed from a hop through Canada's. It's the same continent. Is there the fan support for it? You bet. Pato O'Ward is perhaps the most popular homegrown IndyCar talent, and his Patriots in Mexico are a huge reason for that. They showed up in numbers at Texas Motor Speedway to cheer their man on. Texas Motor Speedway. Remember when IndyCar ran there? Right, okay, cynicism. So where do you start this wheel turning? Well, you have to have ideas before actions. So here's the idea. An IndyCar race at Hermanos Rodriguez. True wheel-to-wheel, open-wheel action being brought to our neighbors to the south for the first time in almost 2 decades. Bringing the actual greatest spectacle in racing to Mexico. Just an idea from an idealist.
Oh, golly. Anybody get dizzy yet? Pass. Oh! Figure out if I was the idiot or that's it. We win. That was a lot of fun. That one.
Hello there, welcome back to Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the 3rd full race of my AI IndyCar season. If you missed the sprint race around the oval, that was better than I anticipated, but now it's time for the feature event. We've got about 45 minutes, 30 laps of racing highlights that we'll be combing through. We're starting in 15th place, pretty average for our outfit so far this season. On the right, you've got the current point standings. On the left, you've got the starting grid. The top 4 in points are starting in positions 1 through 4. Will the top drivers continue their dominance today? Can we move forward? Nothing left now but to head to the grid, climb into the car, and go racing.
30 laps, stay calm, focus.
All right, folks, welcome to Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez Grand Prix circuit. 30 laps, you're starting P15. Let's get to it. Now, this is most definitely not the first time I've tried this. The AI in this mod has a tendency to crash. You see how they weave a lot on the straightaway. Will he just stay over there? It'd be great if he just stays over there. We'll see how many cars make it through that. I've had to restart this several times. Oh, there's another car. Yeah, I don't they're oblivious to each other on the front stretch, and they run each other off the road basically. But once you get going, and this is the VRC mod, once you get going past lap 1, they seem to be okay. But it's just getting through the front stretch on lap 1 that is the problem most of the time. It looks like, judging by the mini-map, everybody got spread out. But other than whoever that was, I think... Oh gosh, who would that have been?
Yellow flag.
Probably Armstrong. It was a green car, right? Anyway, whoever it was, besides Armstrong getting messed up there. Ooh. Coming through the S's. So we're up to 12th now, thanks to the spin there on the start. But yeah, what happens is they just rear end each other, or they cut each other off. We can go to the replay here and take a look. Either way, they just don't, they aren't aware of each other's presence off the starting line for a while, it seems like. But okay, let's put our head down here. P12.
Yellow flag, caution, P12.
We qualified 15th. We know we don't have exactly, like, God-given speed today. So we're going to have to try and make things happen, push real hard. Car ahead of us is Pato Ward. That's, I said last video, and I'll say it this time, hometown hero, even though he's not from Mexico City, he's from Monterey. But, you know, the crowd would be going wild for him. Ooh, I got that sideways. Saved it, but took a lot of time away from me, and now Graham's right up behind us. He's gonna go for a lunge.
Right. Clear right.
All right. Sloppy driving leads to a loss of position. That seems about right. That's okay. We'll follow for a while.
Yellow flag, 13th place.
Yeah, good section through there. Good lines through that section, I should say. I'm not 100% sure what angle I'm going to take on the intro for this one, so pardon me if this is is redundant. But why does an IndyCar race in Mexico City? This is kind of a silly thing. Or Mexico in general.
You're reeling very hard. The gap is now 1.5 seconds.
All right, making some progress. But also, if you're thinking about how slow IndyCar looks at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, that's kind of a silly thought. IndyCar did used to race here, or something that would have history attached to the word IndyCar. I'm talking Champ Car here. And I've got some numbers here. Last time Champ Car ran a race here, the margin of victory was 1.9 seconds from first to second. Compare that to F1 in 2023. Margin of victory was 13.8 seconds, and I'm sure F1 considered that probably a pretty close race at one point. This isn't throwing shade at F1. These are just facts. It's different. If you enjoy F1, that's absolutely fantastic for you, and you've seen some F1 content on the channel before. F1's definitely got moments of very high-skilled racecraft. Obviously, some extremely advanced racing engineering, something IndyCar cannot touch. And easily the most marketed motorsport in the world. With the fastest acceleration of any circuit car. But does that mean best? I don't know. I don't think so. Go back to those margins of victory. Racers race on a racetrack. And if they don't have the tools to do it, it's still racing, but is it as much racing? I don't know. I'd argue no. Which again, if F1's your jam, that's great. But don't criticize this for looking slower. When IndyCar came here in 2006, it was Sebastian Bourdais and Justin Wilson who put on a great show that culminated in a last lap controversial pass around the hairpin turn 6. Kind of stuff F1 could probably only dream of happening. That was back when it was a more flowing circuit too, with less stab on the brake moments to try and close a gap as we see Willpower coming up behind us. And this is a fantastic racing circuit. Before and after the Tilk redesign, I'd argue it was more fantastic before it. But I think Will's going to have us down the straightaway here, not going to fight him too hard.
On your right. Hold your line. Clear right.
Oh, coming back, okay. He really wanted to square up that corner, I guess. If we get back next to him on the front stretch, I might use the push to pass just to try and stay in his wake for as long as possible, and hopefully he can drag us up. Sorry about the bitterness towards F1 today. I'm still pretty darn bitter about the Andretti Global announcement. It's not exactly fair to any viewers of mine who might be like El Ram, who is from Mexico City. You deserve to have this circuit praised up and down. It's a great racing track.
Yellow flag. Watch out.
And my cynicism shouldn't get in the way of that. But alas, it probably will. But I put the quote on my side screen here, so if I ever got to the point where I wanted to reference it, I could. We do not believe the applicant, that being Andretti Global, would be a competitive participant. Can you believe that? That F1 said that of Andretti Global? That F1 said that of the reigning Formula E champions with multiple Indy 500 wins, a strong presence in Australian supercars, IMSA, the aforementioned IndyCar and Formula E, that they wouldn't be a competitive participant. It's laughably false. It's a laughable falsehood. Said another way,
The gap in front is increasing. It's now 3.0 seconds.
it's a straight up lie and they know it. They just don't want to allow Andretti in. Why? We can guess. But that press statement was absolutely just a deception. And I think if you're an American, you should be exceptionally insulted by it. And here I am talking about American shit while I'm featuring a Mexican city here. Mexico City, actually. So, you know, bad me. Very narcissistic of me. But it is in the news, and we are at a Formula One circuit.
Right, it's getting closer. The gap's now 2.9 seconds. Yellow flag. Caution.
I liked it better when Kiffin back there was blocking up some of these hard chargers. Now we got Hunter Ray coming up on us. Yeah, but we're also getting spread out. If there was like wheel-to-wheel action here, like there normally is in IndyCar, I'd probably be, you know, my mind wouldn't be wandering as much to the cynicism of my Formula One opinions, but yeah, IndyCar makes slower lap times around a circuit, a road course, I should say. The fastest circuit world in the... Oh, okay, let's try again. The fastest circuit racing in the world happens under IndyCar's watch at the Indy 500, and that's just an objective fact. Which is why IndyCars are partially so slow that they have to run those super speedways. The cars are engineered like tanks. After they were engineered like tanks originally, they had more tanky stuff bolted onto them, and they're pretty darn hefty. But I would argue Indy cars are the safest built race cars in the world.
Yellow flag. Alright, Bo, lap times are pretty consistent.
I'm consistent. Anyway, so the whole Formula E, or I'm sorry, the whole Formula One arrogance thing really gets to me sometimes. The snobbery. I'm never, ever somebody who... How do I word this? Snobbery from the wealthy doesn't impress me, and I don't believe in royalty. And that is so much of what Formula One's shtick is, that it very often rubs me the wrong way. I like, and you can see it on my channel, I work in this idealized universe where IndyCar can run at 48 tracks a year. Formula One, we'll see if I have time to do an F1 season this year. But if I do, it'll be the same kind of thing. You know, what if there were a ton of entries for Formula One, and what if they went to all sorts of different racetracks and stuff? Because I love the, like, idealized universe of racing, the purity of racing. And I think the further away you get from what racing actually is, which is race car drivers in race cars on race tracks, duking it out to find out who the best racer is, the further away you get from that, the less, like, pure your racing product is, and the less interested I get. And I think F1 year after year gets further and further away from that, and it's something between a tech demonstration and a gala for the rich and wealthy after a while. And I don't know, if that's your jam, that's fine. It just seems more like a fashion show than a sport sometimes, and if that's your jam, that's great. It's heavily marketed. You will find a lot of friends, and people with my opinion do not have a lot of friends, so take that for what it's worth. But I've never shied away from being an asshole before. Why start now? But that doesn't mean F1 doesn't have good stuff, and that doesn't mean F1 drivers aren't extremely gifted. Of course, I'd argue they're just as gifted as IndyCar drivers. I think the direct comparables favorably indicate that. Romain Grosjean, kind of loose cannon mid-packer in F1, loose cannon mid-packer in IndyCar as well. Rubens Barrichello, same thing when he came over. Well, he wasn't a loose cannon, but he was a mid-packer. Fernando Alonso finished, what, highest of like 22nd ever? Okay, way to go, Fred.
Yellow flag. 14th.
So, that's not to say I don't think F1 drivers are talented. I think if a Fernando Alonso came to IndyCar, especially in his prime, I mean, now we're talking a bit aged, but, you know, a prime Fernando Alonso could learn the IndyCar thing and succeed extremely at an extremely high level. I think there's easily enough to support that. But what really drives me up a wall is when you read those comments that say, oh, if Scott Dixon was so good, why isn't he in Formula One? Oh, Pato Award. They didn't give the seat to Pato Award because he's not good enough. And it's like, that's not... The evidence doesn't support that. If you're competitive in IndyCar, you would be competitive in Formula One. And it's more about the equipment and the team and the driving style, as I miss that. Apex. And now Ryan Hunter-Reay's all over me. Ryan Hunter-Reay, by the way, I do believe it was him in the Race of Champions. Head-to-head beat Michael Schumacher? What? An IndyCar driver beating, like, the GOAT? That can't be. IndyCar's not good. I've been assured by many Europeans that IndyCar drivers are no good. And then you get the whole IndyCar fans have an inferiority complex. It's not that. I have no problem admitting Max Verstappen is one of the most talented racing drivers in history. It's just so is Scott Dixon, and I think you
use all the track, force him to find the gap.
You really hurt everyone by discrediting how good other racing series drivers are. Same thing with NASCAR, right? I don't like NASCAR as a sanctioning body. I don't like a lot of their rules. That doesn't mean that NASCAR drivers aren't exceptionally gifted at what they do. They are. They're so talented. And, you know, if you say your sport is the pinnacle of something, and then I push back on that, and you say I have an inferiority complex, no, you have arrogance. That's how that works. Because your pinnacle claim is unfounded. You go fast, that's great. Pato Award himself said that those cars are the easiest cars to drive. Anyway, I don't want this to get too, you know, too ranty, because I do simultaneously I have a channel and I don't want to turn off F1 fans, but also I don't think there's anything wrong with being an F1 fan. Like, go ahead, love your thing. And, you know, I watch F1 often. It's a good time, especially with friends. It's just about observing objective reality, you know? And the word pinnacle implies something that is not, my opinion. And opinions are not objective. Calling yourself the pinnacle of motorsport is not objective. It is subjective. It is an opinion you have. And if someone pushes back on that opinion, that doesn't mean they have an inferiority complex. That means they have a different point of view. And we can all come together and we can all explain our points of view. Please go ahead in the comments. Explain your point of view. But that's just what it is. It's a point of view. You're getting my point of view right now. I have a channel. I have a microphone. You have a comment section. Tear me to shreds. Or down thumb me. I get a lot of thumbs down sometimes. It amuses me. But again, that's not to say Formula One isn't great. It's just great at what it does. IndyCar is great at what it does. And I know the comparison would happen here if IndyCar drove at this track. Just like at COTA, just like in Montreal. It's like, oh man, IndyCars are 12 seconds slower. It's a garbage series. The drivers aren't good because they're 12 seconds slower. Doesn't that like imply that Ayrton Senna is worse than like Nikita Mazepin because they took the same tracks and Mazepin put down faster laps? It's about what you're driving and how you're driving. It's not, I don't know. It gets frustrating, doesn't it? We're holding off Ryan Hunter-Reay here. We're keeping 14th while ranting. That's pretty good, I'd say. The pack really spread out, didn't it? I mean, there's isolated pockets of really close racing. If only we were involved in one of those. Yeah, that felt good. That was right on the edge of grip right there. But yeah, I felt like I had to have an F1 talk while I'm at an F1 circuit. Because it's an elephant in the room, right? You're talking about IndyCar, you're talking about F1. Like, I'm putting IndyCar on this track. Because it's historically a thing that happened. And F1 is in the news. Andretti is a team in IndyCar. F1 and IndyCar used to run at this track. Like, it would be weird. I would be incapable of not addressing that issue and my perspective on it.
The gap to Ray behind is now 0.9.
I high-centered the car on that rumble strip at the exit of the S's. I feel pretty fortunate to have saved it. Remember that damage is not on in Assetto Corsa. However, we would take a drive through the pits if we felt like we would have actually sustained damage. So we didn't hit anything. We did not sustain any damage. We did a good job hanging on to it, but that was sketchy. All right, let's try to get it back from Ryan. I'm Captain America up there. For Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, which has been confirmed to be the lineup for the Indy 500 this year. Ryan Hunter-Reay with Dreyer and Reinbold, along with Connor Daly. Extremely good veteran lineup, I guess. I was trying to come up with a better word than good, but I don't know what else to say. Experienced? Gone are the days, and I'm not necessarily saying I endorse this, but gone are the days of Sage Karam trying to push the Dreyer and Reinbold car higher than maybe it was capable of. Now you've got some veteran savvy behind the wheels, which I know there's a lot of hate in the IndyCar community for Sage Karam, or at least there was, but I don't have any of it. I think we've seen a lot of talent come through that made mistakes and turned out to be exceptionally talented, and I don't think Sage would have been any different had he been given a full career in IndyCar. And this is just the Nifty gives you hot takes race, isn't it? So we've got 9 push to pass left, and I think at the line we'll have 10 laps left. So we'll give it one more lap. But we're hanging right with Hunter-Reay. Two wheels on the correct side of the white line. That's the rule I do my best to hold myself to. Lock it up a little bit, but not too bad. Okay. And we're threatening to get a pass done here without the push to pass. We'll take the inside through the next two, however, so this was probably a misguided effort. He'll hold us off on the inside through the hairpin.
Clear to the right.
Oh, we've still got leverage here, though, going into the S's.
The next car is red.
Yeah, we'll let him have it. It's very... as wide as it feels because there's a lot of runoff, that actual angle we had there was extremely narrow. We slowed both of us down enough to let Simpson kind of get a glimpse of the action up here. All right, we'll get on the button. See what we can make of this.
On your left. Still there. Keep it steady.
Oh, he's going to hold us off on the outside. The push to pass doesn't mean automatic pass. And here's Simpson. Now we got a car ahead and a car behind to worry about. I don't know if he meant to or not, but Hunter Ray there taking basically the Pruitt fade down that short chute into the stadium section. On the button we go.
Your lap times are dropping off. Come on, you can do better than this.
And we're at the top of 6th.
Far left, clear left.
We might not be able to get it done on the front stretch. We might need to come up with an alternate zone to pass in. Oh,
Left side.
maybe it is on the front stretch. He seemed to
Still there.
get off the last turn poorly. But he's taking us way to the inside.
Clear left.
Alright, he'll hold us off. That was a... For a bot, that was a pretty impressive, aggressive, intelligent pinch, keeping us to the inside.
Right.
Yeah, we can get alongside here, but there's
Clear right, on your right.
basically nothing to do with it.
Clear right, car right. Keep it steady. Clear right, right side.
Unless we can outmotor him here.
Line. Still there.
But yeah, then he's got the
Clear right,
wider
you're
arc.
clear.
Hey, track limits. Hunter Ray using all of the track and then some to keep us behind him. Pretty good battle here, to be honest. So I think getting on the button early was kind of part of our key to success.
15th place.
Last lap on the front stretch. I also think he must have just had a bad corner exit or something. Don't lock it up too much. Ah! Okay. Okay, we're not going to push the button here. We're just going to try to sit in the draft. Keep it close. We can get alongside, okay, but I don't think it'll stick.
Still there. Clear left on your left. Hold your line.
Yeah, but
Clear
this
left.
is expected.
Left side, clear to the left.
Now we've got the button.
Right.
We'll push it here.
Ahead of us is right.
It's gonna hold the inside, okay.
Clear left on your left. Hold your line. Clear left.
Yellow flag. Keep your wits about you, mate.
There we go. Pass done. With 3 to go. All right, last lap. Take it all in.
Left to go.
Thank you to Mexico City for hosting me and my ranting. Come down the long front stretch for the last time, which we've seen a lot of since we did an oval race as well. Check that video out if you haven't. So you can see, because the push to pass is in red, P2P red 1. We got one more button push, but can't use it yet. It's I guess technically it thinks it's recharging or something.
Yellow flag. Keep your wits about you, mate.
Now we could use it. But I don't exactly trust the extra horsepower through the S's. I have a hard enough time as it is. And it kind of feels a little unnecessary. We've gapped Hunter Ray out to 1.5. Through the stadium one last time. Back onto the Peraltada. Checkers are out. We're going to come home E14.
14th.
And that's how it might have looked if IndyCar ran in Formula One's backyard. Great fight with Hunter Ray. Let's go to post-race Nifty. Not much to add to this one. If you run this race with this mod yourself, you might have to start the race over a few times until you get a decent enough start off the line with the AI. I'm not sure why, but the AI loves running over each other on the front stretch on the opening lap. I was trying to find a balance with the opponent strength and the plus-minus spread so that they'd be competitive and racy, but spread out a little on the start to prevent that. It seems like they spread out a lot since we were basically driving by ourselves a lot of this race. In the standings, first and second in the spring season finished first and second in the race. Our 14th place finish keeps us 15th in the standings as we tread water in the mid-pack. Next up is the streets of Sao Paulo. I'll see you there.